Hi, today is the 23rd of June, 2022. Thanks for tuning in to my official YouTube channel. Make sure to subscribe to my official YouTube channel. Like my official YouTube videos. Make sure to go to my website, www.susanmelane.com, which is the same as www.ladydorybell.com, which, by the way, if you look at my FetLife page, my original FetLife page of Lady Dory Bell, which you can find on my website, www.susanmelane.com, always been the same person I've always been. It's not my fault that other people didn't pay attention to details. It's not my fault that I've worked to actually achieve things, and it's not my fault that, those particular males, in reference to any capacity of, just so you know, I'll put the links below in regards to the information area as to what particular videos regarding the different clips have influenced this particular official YouTube video of mine. Now, it is called the Mother Ocean and Father Time for a reason. So, biologically, you have to be a female to do certain things. Biologically, you have to have not just certain factors of, so for example, what is it to be a female biologically? At birth, you are born with what is known as vagina, okay, and fallopian tubes and all that sort of stuff internally in comparison. Now, while I can make the joke because of fallopian tubes of an internal penis, because anybody who knows anything about how a penis is, well, okay, fine. Just as the reason why males have to take Viagra after a certain amount of time, because if they just so happen to sow their seeds one too many times in comparison to taking care of a female correctly, if they just so happen to be in a relationship with one, that's the damn reason why they have to use Viagra. My personal opinion, however, as females know, you only have so many eggs, and you go through this thing called puberty just as males do. You go through menopause just as well, males after a certain point in time that go and utilize Viagra, when they haven't been capable to take care of themselves and maintain themselves in the correct capacity. Now, that is my personal opinion. I've been a feminist my entire life, which translates to I've been a tomboy. So internally, my internal thoughts have been as they've been in comparison to how certain males tend to be thinking that whatever. I've dealt with sexism since, technically since I was born. My own biological father, when I was ripped out of my biological mother's uterus, through a C-section, because instead of actually going through the natural labor and delivery, I can make that joke. The doctors, maybe they knew how that was going to be, so they were like, okay, we're going to schedule a C-section because, that your oven is done. Your goose is cooked. Let's take this out. Here, oh, look at that, aren't you? Whatever. And then my biological father, well, it's missing something between its legs. What is that? And then the doctor was like, it's a girl. That's what it is. It's a girl. And my biological father, well, I'm first generation Chinese. What is that? It's your fault because this is a girl in comparison. And so my biological father actually blamed my biological mother for me being a female at birth. And so, I've dealt with sexism literally as soon as I came out of the uterus. Like that, y'all. So, it is what it is. So then that didn't stop there. No. I was born and raised in New Jersey. You'd think that with certain factors that there'd be, that feminism, especially since I was born in the early 1980s, you'd think, though it was during the yuppie time frame that I was born, so everybody was like, yep, sure, feminism, yeah, yep, whatever that is, yep, no, that's fine, yep, I can make the joke, it's fine, in comparison. So then, while my biological mother hears a different version of sexism, here, go put this little dress on, whatever, and put some white stockings on, and some little white patent leather shoes. Go to the garage with your biological father. Don't get dirty. Now, I can make a joke on that, because first and foremost, it's a 1980s garage in New Jersey. Second, it's a 1980s garage in New Jersey. So anybody who remembers how the 1980s garages were, there was what I call the Sistine Chapel. Okay, so I walk in, I'm a whopping like 3 or 4 years old. My biological father goes, here, watch this. Not a hold your beer, by the way. No. Here, watch this. I gotta go talk with the owner, which just so happens to be what is a family friend who I grew up with knowing as Uncle Lippy, which I suppose I could make a joke because, well, realistically, it was New Jersey in the 1980s. And so, from what I've been told, New Jerseyans tend to be a little lippy every now and then, or we might have an attitude, however you want to put it. I prefer saying it's a little bit of sass. And so, in that particular reference, going to go to that, here, watch this, and it's not as though, it was a stereotype regarding, in the Midwest or below the Mason-Dixon line of, here, hold my beer, watch this, no, here, just watch this, and then I walk in and it's like, wow, hello, ladies, hi. Well, but I was a whopping 3 or 4 years old, so it's like, well, I don't know what to look at first. There's all these cars, but then there's females. And so what do I look at first, because, well, my biological mother didn't breastfeed me. She didn't, I can M&M soft that. I didn't even get, breast milk. I got formula, so I can make a joke about going into the mechanic shop. All right, let's go, you guys. What you got? You got a 442 right there? Hey, look at that. Look at that with that lug nut. I can make a joke because I had a head injury on Palm Sunday in 2000. And, that's usually what, was kind of referred to. So, in that particular reference, these huge, 1980s garage Italian, not all Italians, but, a few, and they're like, whopping like gold, and I'm like down here, and, I got this white little stupid dress on with these white little stockings and this white patent leather shoes. And so one of the males had said something, be careful because if you get oil on that, you can't wear that dress again. Oh, well, thank you for letting me know. I appreciate that. That's awesome. That's awesome because I don't have to, and then of course the males were like, oh, aren't you cute? No, I have a sexist or a feminazi biological mother, so, I don't like wearing dresses, so if I have to, that's fine. It could be like a, bear in that regard. No, that's fine. How did I get dirty? Well, I just bumped into a few things. Whopping little 3, 4-year-old. Whoops. Whoopsies. Oopsies. my defense, Pink, I was a girl, well, I was a female, but I biologically, okay, but I wasn't doing that, okay? It was more along the lines of I didn't want to wear that stupid dress again. So, you know, it was just one of those, that's fine, no, that's fine, that's okay, no, that's fine, it's okay. Though I have the reference of other females in regards of the Sistine Chapel area of Amco Garage in the 1980s. So I grew up with that, and so of course the guys were just like, well, aren't you cute-ish? You know, covered. I made sure. You know, I like Waffle House, so I was smothered, covered, all sorts of what have you, though with oil, because it was like, yes, no, that's fantastic. I don't have to, no, I don't want to wear this stupid dress again. No, I'll wear what I want when I grow up. I won't be wearing that. I will acknowledge that. But I will be wearing what I want, because I'm going to grow up, I'm going to do what I want. Because, yeah, that's what I got to say. I'm going to do my hair how I want to do my hair. I'm going to do what I want. Damn that. I'm going to be good at it, too, whatever. So grown up. You know. Just because I look like I drew all over myself with a crayon. Well, you know, I do like Marines, so you know how that particular saying goes. And so that's fine. It's okay. Those dress blues, they are good looking. And those dress blues just, whew, 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 whew. Hello, nurse. And so I have a crush on this guy I call Cutie Patootie Marine. I bet he looks damn good. I bet he Oh, let me go a little New Jersey on that. How you doing? You know, because females can, you know, look at males and be like, you don't know what we can think. You don't know. I mean, again, then the question is, do you want to know? Are you sure? Are you sure you want to know what a female thinks? Are you sure? Because once you know, you cannot unknow. You won't ever be capable to unknow. I'm just saying. Because a female will remind you. I could make a joke. Yeah, okay, people made fun of me about my head injury and how repetitive I can be. And yet at the same time, I'm still a biological female, so, you know, is it really? I mean, I'm sure, I don't deny it, because I went from college algebra with trigonometry and calculus to second grade math. And yet, at that same time. So, you know, but then, because I can go into the joke regarding being a tomboy, well, my biological father, he was certified by the School of Monologue. So, you know, androgyny, I suppose, you know, when you go into my hairstyle, though biological female. So in reference to female sports, you know, I know a thing or two when it comes to those types of situations. It really is an annoyance. And having been a beard in regards to gay males when I was a child, to different references, you know, and literally, yeah, sure, I'm a child that he's taking care of. Yeah, hi girl, yeah, that's fine. That's my girl, it's fine. Yeah, I mean, sure, and then, you know, as an actual, you know, and it's my girlfriend. Yeah, I'm a female. And yes, I am your friend. Yes, that's fine. Why don't you know, and so there were a few that I had been a beard to that I was someone who may have known me in person face to face
So then he was,
well, you know, we are, you know, and so, you know, I guess maybe that's a little more true than, you know, because internally being a tomboy and then heck or high, that's fine, it's okay. In comparison, that's fine, that's fine. So I dealt with all sorts of it because then my biological mother being in the information technology regarding the software engineering design. So then, you know, I see what she deals with as far as work is concerned, and I walk in and, you know, they're like, oh, aren't you a cute little... We stopped having the barbecues because of me, just so you know. I hurt some feelings, okay? I don't know if there are those who knew me in person, face-to-face in person, over the years, who could see that occurring. I know in the years of 2010 and 2011, a bunch of people in Austin, Texas were like, you must have better, you know, memories. Well, you know what? I think I remembered some better childhood memories. It was when I crushed the feelings, you know, on dominant leather, it happens. It happens, it does, it happens. I crushed the feelings of people who had children that were 1980s tech guys. I crushed their feelings, okay? You know, on the volleyball court, I crushed their feelings. When we had the potato sack races, oh, I crushed their feelings. And then when the biological adults were like, hey, do you have any ideas? And then some of the males, so anybody who knows how certain techie males were in the 1980s and 1990s, I'm gonna do my best impersonation. So yeah, well, if you were going to listen the pace of and so then I was like, yeah, but I got a better idea than that, so excuse me. No. You can take that Band-Aid tape off your eyeglasses because you're just pretending that you have Band-Aid tape on your eyeglasses. If I did that, I guarantee you my biological father whooped my ass for doing stupid shit like that, so you better stop that right now. And then, well, you don't know, and I ripped those sunglasses off, took that Band-Aid off, and stuck it on his face, put his eyeglasses back on. I was like, yeah, he's just pretending. Hi, my name is Susan. I have some really good ideas in comparison. So I don't know if anybody could see that occurring in any comparison, hypothetically, at all, because I was not about to be dealing with what I was seeing. So, yeah, so then, you know, then some of the males started crying to their parents, and then if anybody knows how certain only child syndrome situations could be, as far as, so yeah, you know, just because internally, you know, I was more, you know, tomboy and stuff, and yeah, so I could make a joke in regards to, you know, the civilian recreational scuba diver sector, because I earned 26 scuba diving certifications, and my top scuba diving certification is cavern scuba diving. You know, where it's in a location in Florida where these sinkholes were forming, so the hole was getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. You know, it's not like going to the cenotes, which, you know, there's the pictures regarding that point in time in September of 2009, where, you know, you hypothetically could see that in drop to the bottom of the Gulf of Mexico. Yes, I know, males. My internal is so much bigger. That's fine. You know what? PADI, or PADI, is registered out in California compared to Florida. We were in Florida for that cavern scuba diving certification. Nonetheless, it's okay. It's okay. You got whatever the road is in Florida. I know now he's here. It's okay. I earned all my scuba diving certifications from California. It's just I-5. That's my internal. That's fine. That's all right. No, it's all right because, you know, the tip is up in Washington State. And, you know, I mean, I grew up going to a church where General George Washington's private office is, and that's fine. That's fine. It's okay. It's okay. I know internally you feel some sad. Yeah, because the guy at Cavern Excursions was like, well, yeah, sure, I could talk with Richard, whatever, why bother? I could talk with someone who actually did something with scuba diving in comparison to that. And so you can see it in the pictures. You know, it's beyond a picture's worth 1,000 words as far as that's concerned. It's gonna totally be so cool and be like name dropping, and anybody who's known me knows how I am about name dropping. Because that's what that was, and I know it. I know it. And it's like similarly to when I was a child. So what happened was I had packed my regulator. I had. But then so anybody who's ever known this individual and or had situations, so I am distraught on the flight because I am freaking out. I know for a fact I packed everything. I knew I was squared away. I knew that this female had flown in from Mexico to be capable to teach cavern scuba diving. And so it's one of those, I have, you know, as a feminist female, it's one of those, this is awesome to meet a female cavern instructor and cave instructor that, you know, made it up that, you know, because you think that if you actually know things about the world, you would understand that. It's like, I have to like totally, this is amazing. I'm gonna meet this badass bitch. Fuck yeah. You know, internal thoughts. As far as this is gonna be awesome. This is gonna be great. And then, you know, freaking find out that, you know, because I thought I packed everything, but then I found my regulator where it ends. Like, you know what? I hate people that think that scuba diving is a game. And only little boys do that. So my biological father had said, you know, when boys grow up to be men, they put their toys away. And they actually are men in comparison. So in that particular reference, you know, well, I guess I can say I'm a woman. But I'm a biological female, so it is as it is. So anyway, I know I've been accustomed to saying female for a while, so it is as it is. Nonetheless, you know, so, oh, you forgot your regulator? Oh, well, I guess we'll just have to go to a place I know where there's a guy does your mom do here? Information technology engineering software designer. Thank you very much. And so while my biological mother was talking with some other whatever, I'm like, that's what, and she's a project manager, and she does this, and she does that, and whatever. And so then, the guy's like, oh, so, does she talk the way you do? No, she's kinder and nicer than I am. Yeah. She actually cares about feelings where I don't. Yeah, I don't care about your feelings at all, just so you know. And this guy, a couple of them, they were just like, well, but you're a girl. I'm a female. My biological father told me what girls are. Just because I was born in the year of a dog as a female? Sure, I can bitch. With my teeth. And so, because I had already dealt with this situation with some of the males that were, children of some of the other males, and it's like, yeah, no, I can, you know what? I like the game kickball. Why am I a dominant leather female? I like the game kickball. Yes, I do. Dodge this, bitch. That's right. 3-1 by technicality when we play dodgeball. I have a really good aim. We stopped. So first it's okay. So I've talked about prior official YouTube videos of mine. Make sure to subscribe to my official YouTube channel, like my official YouTube videos. Go to my website www.susanbeeling.com, which is the same as www.ladydorybell.com. This isn't adorable though when it comes to this. So we stopped playing dodgeball because there's these 1980s, 1990s hockey regulations that became a thing because of how New Jersey Devils hockey players were. And so, later when I become a biological adult from that point in time, I get into BDSM. Who could see that coming? Well, yeah, I guess I don't know. I mean, if they need Viagra, I guess it depends. Because, if it's longer than 4 hours. And so, there's this one time we're at the barbecue, okay? And all of the whatevers or whatever, and I got this big red ball. And so we're supposed to, everybody's kind of just along the lines like, which one of these males pissed me off today? I'm like, get some ready for a different type of bustin', let me tell you. And so, what we did is we did one at a time, okay? And so then, I got the little ball and I'm just, and so, all of the others, the whatever, they're just like, Mind you, this is grass. This is not a cement field. I'm hitting the ball hard enough for the ball to bounce off in the correct direction. I'm like, that's right. And so then they're like, okay, Susan, it's your turn. Now look and see which male pissed me off. Because what leather dominant female, or what, I shouldn't even go there. What female hasn't ever dealt with that? So, okay. It's fine. Yeah, I'm gonna, so I get, for those who know baseball, I'm just like, we get a little martial artsy-ish. Not fully, but BAM! And just, it was a 3-1, although, And so we didn't play dodgeball the next time. my defense, you know, when you stand like this and you're like, yeah, what are you gonna do? When you're a male, that's your fault. Fully. That's your fault. Yes, that is. That's your fault. So, totally, I know. So, I dealt with a little bit of sexism my entire life. So, you know, then, you know, because this was elementary school, by the way, this wasn't even middle school, because remember, at birth. So, then in middle school, I'm like, I'm going to go into woodworking. No, you can go into home ec. I already know how to cook. I don't need to know how to do that. No, you can learn more than cooking. What else do you learn? How to sew. I already know how to sew. I don't need to know that. I need to know how to take care of, you know, like my biological father working on a 5-car garage. I need to make sure, you know, like certain things. I'm going to do some stuff myself and all this sort of stuff. I already know how to do all that. That's fine. Yes. So I still had to take home ec. This is how sexist it was. Only to be able to go and take woodworking, and hell hath no fury like a pissed off teenage female about to go through puberty. Whose parents, you know, one works on clocks and the other works in technology. And then I became a mom. And so, yeah, no, that's fine. No, that's fine. That's okay. It's alright. No, that's fine. That's cool. No, that's cool. You want to know? It's fine. And so, you know, then there was science afterwards, as far as that's concerned. I've already gone over that in regards to prior official YouTube videos. I've dealt with decades of sexism that at this point it's just one of those, all right, you know, I can just, for those to reference, now that's fine. I just bounce this dodgeball. Good luck. Do you want to do this better, or do I need to throw a dodgeball? Because I hit target every time. You know, I'm a smidgen, you know, I am how I am. That's fine. I will make you, don't make me make you cry, because I can do so. And because I was born in the year of the dog, I might be friendly enough to walk right up to you and your tears and just be like that. That's cool. It's okay. Because I'm a sadist like that. That's how I am. That takes that to a different level, you know. I'm not saying I've done that. Because by technicalities, you would have to find the males that I did that to. And females, but mainly males. You'd have to find them, and you know, I mean, that was before being moved from New Jersey to Illinois, and you know, I mean, I'm not saying that what I'm saying in my defense is they weren't laughing, so they weren't tears of laughter. From them, they were not laughing tears of laughter. I, on the other hand, thought it was hilarious. I still do. They were a smidgen sad. And so, this is why I can't do certain professions, because I'd have to know when to stop in comparison to the drill sergeant way of, you know, when I get tired. And so, in that comparison, that hypothetically, it's just all hypothetical. So, you know, in regards of what matters and stuff like that, well, somebody may not have realized certain things until a little bit later, and yeah, diamond in the rough is a saying, and dogs bark, and that's usually what they say. Chinese zodiac, born in the year of the dog, it's okay. It's alright. I've made peace with that, that's fine. I suppose literally and figuratively, it's okay. So in this particular reference, it's to, well, I've been a tomboy. That doesn't translate to being born that way. I mean, I was born that way, yes. I came out, not in that, I mean, I am a pansexual. This is why I view myself as a pansexual, though I didn't have the wording until later. So internally, I am a gay bear, because I'm a tomboy. I'm a top gay bear. Tomboy, thank you very much. But a biological female, so I can acknowledge, I do have weaknesses. I do. I don't like acknowledging it, though. So it is as it is, but fine. I do have weaknesses. I was born with a messed up foot. Yeah. And I did what I could to, so I ordered from Amazon, and I think I started doing this in 2015 or 2016, getting these different socks and stuff like that, and the little different whatever, because I didn't like how my left foot toe is, like that at all. So it's an issue. I haven't liked it as a child. It didn't work out. I made so many attempts, and it kind of moved it a little bit, but not enough. And although it did move it, it did reset the bone a little bit, unintended, being a tomboy. So, but at the same time, it wasn't a good idea for me to do that. It was better for me to leave it the way it was. Although, you know what, there might be some people who, hypothetically stirred up any needless drama. That could be like, we shouldn't have done that. We shouldn't have done that. But it is as it is. It is as it is. So I've dealt with sexism, from all sides for a while. And so the irony, though, it wasn't until scuba diving that I dealt with, well, I don't know if you want to call them swimmers, because they're scuba divers, that had issues. So in regards of, there are certain factors where, yes, biologically, there are certain things. If you do the training, especially, and then there is the fact, okay, yes, in regards of the transgender situation as to sports, there is that fact of the need to have male sports, female sports, and then yes, okay, fine, do the transgender as the third, that's fine. I mean, Caitlyn Jenner herself has brought this forward in that reference. In regards of swimming, I grew up swimming in the Atlantic area, the oceanic waters. I swam in the Atlantic area, the oceanic waters, for I don't even know how many years before I ever was taken to a pool for actual swim lessons. My babysitter had a pool in her backyard, and after going to the beach maybe 2 or 3 summers, I was like, you know what? So I went up to the males that were being babysat partially, and then the others were sons to my babysitter's friend Nora, and it was, you know what, I have a great idea. And the males were like, what? And I'm like, let's turn the backyard pool into a whirlpool. And they were like, what? I was like, yeah, we could do that. And so Alejandra was like, Susana, you don't know how to actually do that. You don't know what to make to do the pool. And I was like, So this is what I did at one point in the water, as, you know, I took a break from swimming back and forth and all that, so this is what I did. Get out of the heels for that. So, well, you know, I'm just testing my strength, that's all. What's wrong? Is there something wrong? What? It's just a whirlpool. What? What? Is there a problem? I'm just, what? What? Is what? What? So that you're showing off. No, I promise you, I'm not showing off. I'll let you know if I'm going to show off, okay? I have that courtesy to let you know if I'm going to show off, okay? You just keep that in mind. Instead, I'm just making sure that I got my stuff squared away. Alright? Thank you. If I wanted to show off, I'd let you know. But since I don't like, you know, doing that, that's how that goes. You might think otherwise, depending on who you are. I actually really don't. That's kind of why, in regards to Washington State and Club Sapphire, you know, when I was volunteering, it's just one of those I don't really want to talk about it. Yeah, I mean, realistically, from 2009 through 2012, I didn't really talk about my modeling. And same thing in regards to the few performances. I didn't really talk about it beforehand with anybody at any events. So, or even after. So in regards of performances, I didn't talk about it with anybody before at any events. And even after the events, I didn't really talk about it. It was just, okay, I did that, it is what it is, and that was the end of it. When it came to my modeling, before a modeling session, if it was before an event, I wouldn't talk about it. And if an event happened after I had modeled, I didn't talk about it. It wasn't that I didn't remember it, it was just, you know, well, what's going on in real life. Not that modeling isn't real life, it's just more along the lines of in comparison of what could be discussed. Yeah, sure, can talk about modeling, sure. Or could talk about real life situations that can actually find better ways to actually fix and repair things in that comparison. I'd rather do that instead of, you know, and it's not anything against modeling at all. Just go and do stuff as far as that's concerned. And so that was kind of the way I viewed things as far as that is. Although I not interested. I'd rather utilize my energy if I have to in regards of actual defense. I mean, yes, okay, self-defense, blah, blah. However, I've dealt with a few things, so it's one of those, I'd rather keep that energy as necessary because I've dealt with certain things in comparison. For those who understand a bit of Tai Chi, you, in certain capacities in that reference too, because I've dealt with certain things. It's not the exact same at all, and yet at the same time, it is one of those factors where if it, for example, you got the oceanic waters and certain things that I've handled. Well, it's better for me to do certain things in comparison to overtly exerting myself. And this is true. And then, there are facts that you've got the Tic Tac video regarding the Navy. For one reference or another, as far as that's concerned, in any capacity, as far as whatever, okay? And so I'll just go and handle whatever I gotta go handle, and it is what it is. And there are friendlies that are down there in comparison to some of the stuff I took care of. Some of the stuff I took care of, it is. I'm about life, though. So in regards of my Medal of Honor art project and Medal of Honor art project trips, I've been honest about that. I've brought forward the receipts, so on and so forth, regarding several years. And in regards of banking, well, as far as that's concerned, I do what I can to be as upfront and honest. So the knowledge as to the current time frame as to what the prices of gas are, which I saw that, I already wrote a journal blog, the Ornery PSA, through my website, www.susanleeling.com, which is the same as www.ladydoribel.com. In conjunction to everything else that I've been working on and dealing with, I did bring up the facts as to the Keystone Pipeline before, I think it was 2020, when I had written one article regarding the Keystone Pipeline, and now it's the year 2022, and so with that merger that occurred on the 6th of June in 2022, which is literally 666, by the way, because the 6th of June is the 6th month, and 2022, 246, so it's literally 666, just so you know, regarding that merger referencing cell phones and all that. Anyway, I went and so for that reference, I made a massively huge trip, which, yes, okay, I began my Dr. Mary Edwards Walker collection, which there's only so many in that capacity that I can refer to, have to be capable, yes, you have to have the flags for certain references, though you also have to be capable to distinguish the name of the ship if you are in eyesight of it in case there are multiple ships in the area depending on the type of vessel. So yeah, okay, it says that it's 500 something, that's nice. Yeah, maybe it's the length of the letters. Or maybe it's, you know, the height of the where the captain of the boat steers the ship. Maybe it's 500 feet from the top of the deck to somewhere, you know, where maybe the floor is, where the captain, or maybe it's an area underneath, you know, it's like the second level flooring in comparison, that's 500 something feet off the top of the deck. That's not including the keel of the ship. I don't know about some of those civilian recreational scuba divers, especially the males. It was one of those, so how do you expect to actually know what the size of a boat is? Do you understand what buoyancy is? Or do you think that buoyancy is like what you see above the water? Like, if that's what you think, okay, how do you think, like, do you know that there's a part of the boat that it's not a pontoon boat? It's not that. It's so, like, for example, if people that were in civilian recreational scuba diving were like, oh, well, you know, that just means like it's flat on the bottom and this is where it floats and dirt. No, dumbasses. No. There are different types of boats. Yeah. This one has a keel. Has a hull. Yes, it does. It has a hull of a lot of inches. You, as males, would be jealous, I'm sure. And so I could make a joke, though I-5 is bigger. So, you know, I'll just gonna go there. I'm just gonna leave it like that because it's like that. Yeah. So, you know, it was one of those in the year 2019. I had made a Periscope video, and it's like, I have no problem proving this. Got no problem proving it at all, whatsoever. Here's my proof in regards of you people who don't scuba dive. Yeah, that's just how it is. You're not going to be capable to see me when in the fact in regards of where I explain to people in person, face-to-face in person, as well as in writing. You know, the male who was assigned to me regarding the nitrox was like, well, how was I supposed to see you at the bottom of the ocean? Good point. Fine. But, you know, at that point, it's like, well, I got my ladybug neoprene head cover. Why couldn't you see that bright red at the bottom? Oh, that's right. I took underwater photography. Once you get past so many atmospheric measurements, you don't see red. Oh, yeah. And then after so many more atmospheric measurements, you don't see orange. And then after another set of atmospheric measurements, you don't see the color yellow. And after another set of atmospheric measurements, you don't see the color green. And then after another set of atmospheric measurements, or maybe it's fathoms, whatever, then you don't see blue. And then once you get past some more atmospheric measurements, you don't see the color purple. And then when you get past a few more atmospheric measurements, you don't really see the color brown. And then when you get past a few other atmospheric measurements, you don't see the color black. Unless you have a flashlight. So, that's right. And so at that point, you know, I took the pictures that I had regarding the Vandenberg. It's like, oh yeah, I had to use that many flashlights to get that. Yeah, alright. Whatever, that's fine. It is what it is. I know how I had my rig set up, so that's fine. It is what it is. It is what it is. But I dealt with, you know, sexists in regards to the male scuba divers in the civilian recreational scuba dive sector, though also in regards of the armed forces of the United States of America. I dealt with plenty of males, whether they were active duty National Guard, reservist, and or veteran, who were all, oh, well, you know, I capability? Or are you just going to be a sexist, machismo, feminazi, douchebag little bitch? Because that's just the facts. You know, if you want to go and be like, my dick is this big, well, that's cool. I already acknowledged I didn't graduate basic training. I haven't ever hidden that. I've acknowledged that I had a head injury on Palm Sunday in 2000 during basic training. I haven't ever hidden that. I acknowledge that I deal with headaches and migraines. I acknowledge that. I acknowledge that I deal with memory deficits and cognitive disorders. I acknowledge that for years. At this point, over 2 decades. I acknowledge that I went from college algebra with trigonometry and calculus to 2nd grade math. Can you acknowledge, for fuck's sake, that I'm the one who actually did the actual work? And I don't care. I wasn't doing it in any way to impress any military motherfuckers. I wasn't doing anything to impress anybody, to be quite honest with you. As far as certain types in this year, 2022, in the capacity of. Because no, I wasn't doing anything to impress anybody. If I was going to do something to actually impress somebody, well, guess what? I'd let you know ahead of time that this is what I would do. If I were to do so, I'm going to do something that will impress you. That's how I am. That's how I roll. I'm not one of those, like, I'm going to be all slick or what. No, I'll let you know. I will tell you in that capacity. But since I don't care about impressing people, guess what? I'm just going to go handle stuff, and then that's what I do. And then if I have a reason to talk about it, all right, fine. If not, I'm just not that type of person. You know, just is as it is. I don't. It's just one of those things. I just haven't had that internal, you know, way that some people are. It's just one of those, yeah, okay, well, I handled stuff, whatever. Don't care. I mean, I do, to a degree. It's just one of those, and so what? Is like what? And it's not that anybody's ever told me that they were impressed by my work at all, ever. There's my finances in regards of the different bills and all that sort of stuff to take care of. And so when I had less to worry about regarding any other factors, and not that I didn't have to worry, I technically have less to worry about, except I don't, and so, anybody who has children, once they're above a certain age, like, for example, my son and my daughter are both above the biological age of 18 years old, yeah, technically I could spend more money on myself if I wanted to. And then there's the price of gas, so I already predicted that as far as I wrote about the Keystone Pipeline in prior official journal blogs of mine, and that closing that down, well, you have to be capable to pay to fix it, and so there goes that price hike. And then you have other things that you have to make sure are in alignment, and you have that price aspect. Then you also have to take in consideration the electrical aspects as to what Elon Musk, or E equals MC squared, has brought forward. He's said something about a hyper something another, so if there's any of that going on, or even any grafting regarding that. And then you also have to take in consideration as to the lines that have been laid down in reference to all of these electronic cars. Because anybody who has, I don't have one, okay? I don't have an electronic car. So I don't know what's in electronic cars, but you have these situations of which you know about as to how those drive. And so all of those lines have to be put down. And so all of that construction, that for all of those people who have been really into electronic cars in comparison, well, that costs money to go and put that down. And so people who actually drive vehicles that go on gasoline in comparison, while we wait for your vehicles to have your little lines, John, because of your electronic vehicles, of your little versions of Priuses, not all of you, okay? Yeah, sure, there's some Teslas that are really cool, I don't deny that, but then there's the other ones of you that, have apparently needed someone else because, you want to feel special, so you have the self-autonomous vehicle, so that way you don't have to actually work. In my opinion, I'm not saying, because you have to pay attention to detail when you're in your self-autonomous, other people who actually do work, in whatever capacity of, we actually have to pay attention to details. So, while you have the luxury of being in your little whatevers as far as that's concerned, well, those of us who don't have those vehicles and actually enjoy doing whatever, in whichever capacity of as best as possible, your types that do that sort of stuff, you think that that's great as far as a mission? Let me put this out there for you. I was listening, again, I'm going to put the links in regards to the information area of this official YouTube video of mine. Make sure you subscribe to my official YouTube channel, share the links to my official YouTube videos, and go to my website, www.susanmeling.com, which is the same as www.ladydorybell.com. If you're going to leave a comment, make sure to have etiquette and respect. There is the knowledge that there is less vehicles that have gas that have been going on the road because of how much it costs per gallon. The price has increased. And yet, there's this irony with as few vehicles that have been on the road, there's all of these private charter jets and airplanes that have still been flying. You know what? Maybe I was accurate back in the year 2009, 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013, including into 2014 regarding my first book, Finding a Silver Lining, as to how much it actually costs and who's actually causing the actual problems regarding the climate change aspects of. Because what are the emissions for those particular private jets in comparison to people who aren't driving a car or a truck that has gas because of the price of, in comparison to your little beep sort of what have yous, as far as any of you sexist males, machismo douchebags that have any have to pay attention to details. So, you know, you got your little lines that have to be put down in the road, so that way, you know, if you're not paying attention when you should be paying attention to driving, as far as that's concerned, you and your little meat-meats, as far as that is, if you'd actually pay attention to detail. So if anybody has any issues regarding my Medal of Honor art project, well, if you drive one of the little meat-meat sort of autonomous vehicles, well, screw you. Because obviously you're not paying attention to detail. You know, there is a South Park reference I can make regarding pop culture. Yeah, that's what I have to say. With your little meat-meat. Yeah, you just think about that with your little meat-meat. But with the knowledge that people haven't been traveling as much since March of 2020, well, take that in consideration. It's not rocket science as far as the emissions aspect. So, you know, there's those factors to keep in mind. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hmm. No rocket science. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, you know, you still need oil, though. You still do, in order to take care of those engines. Duh. So, you know, how much oil does it take for a plane? What's the common sense to that? How much gasoline does it take for an airplane compared to, you know, for people who actually work for a living in comparison to just go fly around the world and have little discussions and little tea parties instead of actually, you know, I'm not saying that's not all, but, you know, just pointing that out there. It's not rocket science. Again, if my work was actually appreciated, you know, there wouldn't be certain situations. Although, unless it's the sexist issue where it's, you know, oh, you can't accomplish the work because you have no idea how to do a historical and spiritual rubbing because it's far more than rubbing of a piece of paper. You know, kind of similar to why some males have to go and use Viagra because, you know, in order to actually be with a real female, you actually have to know to make that engine purr in the correct ways and capacities in comparison to, you know, how some have been, hypothetically. I'm not saying that's every male at all. So, you know, I've dealt with a few sexist, machismo douchebags over the years, decades, as far as that's concerned. And so, you know, just saying, you know, I know just certain types of certain situations, you know. I mean, who would actually want to actually be with a female who can actually take care of herself? What is there to actually impress? I mean, that would require, in order to be impressive, to actually be a decent human being. I know that might be shocking to some people. I know. Actually working to make positive fixes and repairs in the correct capacities in comparison. Yeah, I know. That seems weird. I guess it is a bit of an irony. I didn't ever haven't ever been anybody other than myself. And so, while some people might have whatever opinions they might have, that's them. And so I've actually worked to be capable, because in order to do so, that would show the opposite of sexism, to actually, regarding the work that I've accomplished for my work, that would be the opposite of sexism, to actually have where there's the credit that is due, what I earned for my choice as to where I do with what I choose in comparison to anybody, male or female, having any aspect, because it's my right to choose. And so only a feminist would actually know that, understand that, and comprehend that. Anybody that would actually need that explained, well, that would make you a feminazi, obviously. So in the comparison as to those particular factors instead, but that requires common sense as well. That requires actual intelligence, and most likely if you drive one of those little beep beeps and you prefer that, well, you probably also paid to apply to take a test, paid for the possibility to take that test, then you paid to go to, the application fee for college, then you probably paid for that other test, then you probably paid for whatever degree classes, that plus you probably paid for the semester per semester. I believe there's 4 semesters in a year. Then you probably also paid for the books and paid for this and paid for that, and all that sort of stuff as far as that's concerned. And then you probably paid for the actual piece of paper you call a diploma and all that particular stuff. You would think that if there was intelligence, it would just be an all-in-one sort of thing in comparison to, but then, how is it that there are itemized list requirements for all sorts of things? Why would it ever be? I've led by example regarding having brought that forward. Where are the elected officials or different committees and subcommittees and all that doing the exact same thing as far as taxpayer-funded aspects, including universities and colleges? And so in those particular factors as to how that's required of, why, for those who want to do the Freedom of Information Act, what are the finances? Where do those go in that reference? So, why don't you think about that in those regards as to those factors? Just throwing that out there as far as that's concerned. I've been honest. Elected officials, when they're in office, they have to do itemized factors as far as that's concerned. What about these other situations? Granted, yes, there's financial institutions which have to keep their own records as far as that's concerned, though what is the bureaucratic situation in that reference? Just pointing that out there as a hypothetical to take into consideration. And so while the world aspects as to the situations regarding emissions, well, which produces more emissions? So take a look at those videos links that I'll have in the information section of my official YouTube video to take another listen to regarding this official YouTube video of mine. Subscribe to my official YouTube channel, like my official YouTube videos. Go to my website, www.susanmealing.com, which is the same as www.ladydorybell.com. Read through my in any capacity, unless I get all of those finances in comparison. Because unless I get all of those finances, why would I ever take in consideration any actual appreciation for my work? I mean, unless that requires that actual explanation, and if it does, I don't know why you would need that. What intellectual capacity would that be at? Putting that out there, credit where credit's due and all that sort of stuff, and so on and so forth. So while some people might think, well, that's what possibly the problem is, they might be thinking. I've brought it forward as to other factors of that. And so, well, whatever opinions in comparison, it's just the facts as to what actual appreciation is. So, thanks for tuning in to my official YouTube channel as far as that's concerned. Today is the 23rd of June, 2022. And as a Republican, where you go to err in those capacities of, yes, I've been a Republican, especially regarding quite a few factors. I haven't ever hidden my appreciation regarding my constitutional rights. I also haven't hidden my appreciation regarding law enforcement, fire department, and EMS. Same thing, I haven't hidden my appreciation for the armed forces of the United States of America. And so when you take that particular factor into consideration with the knowledge as to the armed forces, as to that particular stipend, so I've already brought that forward before, as far as that's concerned. And so, look at the pay scale. And so then you have that to consider as well. So in the year of 1999 and 2042, there was an issue regarding Bill Clinton as far as that was concerned, not just in reference to the Monica Lewinsky situation as to that particular factor, though also there were situations regarding the armed forces. And so if individuals had paid attention to detail, those factors as well. Pay attention. It's only during democratic individuals regarding certain situations. And so if, as I've written before, after I've said, if Hillary had actually said, yeah, we have an open whatever, if she had, in comparison to what occurred, I wouldn't ever be in a situation that I would allow that. That's my personal viewpoint when it comes to relationship aspects. Just because you might have an assumption because of whatever your assumption might be. I'm not in a relationship with anybody. In order to be Today is the 23rd of June, 2022.